Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome back to the show. I'm just finishing up setting up the stream and we should get underway pretty soon also with the qualifier, as that is of course the first point on our agenda. We're just waiting for the last drivers to come across the finish line and to start off the qualifier. And we only have one car left. That's Weatherston coming around the final corner right now. And then we head on to qualifying.
Green light, go, go, go.
And I'm having some difficulties. Something seems to be wrong. I can look. What is going on? I cannot see the other. I cannot cycle with my controller, whilst that should happen. I am going to quickly get out of the server, get back in, and then hopefully we are better off, because this would make it a whole lot more difficult.
Green light, go, go, go.
There we go. Alright, a simple reset did the trick. And look at how close everyone is getting out of the pit lane. A couple of guys still in the pit lane. But we are heading on to the first flying lap with Vrijvogel. As we are now in the North American part of the world. As cars just exiting the pit lane there, that would be Caraballo. And Vrijvogel gets past with no issues really. So, quick update from the last race. We had some steward reports which have all been resolved. A couple of penalties, but nothing too major. So yeah, that leaves it as is right now. And I'm very sorry if I sound a little bit distracted. That's because I'm still setting up all the rest of the stuff that I need to set up, as I got in a little bit rushed. So my apologies for that. So Freivogel coming up to the line, being the first one to set a lap time and going P1. What a surprise. Falcinelli behind will also make it a lap time. Oh, actually not Falcinelli, I'm sorry. Will be Popov, who sets then the second best time, now down to third. But having a quick look at the overall standings. So overall it is Gr3 who leads from Taylor, and then we have Morrow making up the top three with Falcinelli, Lojek, Cabras, BX Royal, Paul, Paris and Martinelli making up the overall top 10. And surprise surprise, that is also the overall or actually it's not. I got a bit confused. Sorry about that. It is indeed still Gr3 who leads the Gold Class Championship, but is followed by Taylor, then Morrow, then there's a bit of a gap to Lojek and Falcinelli. Then we have Cabras, BX Royal, Paris, Paul, Fitterer, Weatherston, Martinelli, Freivogel, Scannon, Hockhausen and Regnix making up the Gold Class Championship. Then in Silver Class it is Popov who leads from Warrior and Turney, with Dundies, Kalyan, Aysen, Iliscu, Caesar, Gonalons, Omoda and Glen making up the Gold Class, Silver Class, sorry, I need to get a little bit into it. My apologies for that once more. Then in Bronze Class we have Fitzpatrick leading Bronze Class by quite a margin over Caraballo. Then this O'Leary with Asian, Black, Jordanov, and then Mackie and Bayliss making up Bronze Class. So let's cycle a bit through the field. Here we have Turney in the Aston Martin being nearly a full second up on their personal best lap time, as they have only a couple of corners left to navigate. Fitzpatrick gets out of the way there. Turney flashes the lights to show some appreciation for that. Losing a little bit of time, also missing the apex somewhat in the final corner. But still 8.5 improvement as they come across the line will put them from P12 up to P9. Is it just me, or has Paris got a little bit of a different paint scheme going on for today? Looks a bit brighter than I'm used to. Maybe that's just something that is just in my mind doing. I don't know. But let's have a little bit of a talk about this circuit. We are in the United States of America at one of the most famous circuits in this country, being Watkins Glen. Actually, Watkins Glen International, as it's known. Well, everyone knows it as Watkins, or as Glen, or Watkins Glen. It goes all the way back to 1948, and being the first post-war road race to be held on US ground. So it holds that little piece of history. But not long after it was closed, and then a more permanent circuit, which is about what we know now, was constructed and opened in 1956. And since 1972 we have had the layout in almost the same way that we are racing it right now. So, not that many corners around this circuit, as it is only really known to have 11 corners. That is if you discount the bus stop chicane at the back straight. Otherwise it would be just a little bit more than that, but nothing major. It has got a track length of around 5.47 kilometers or 3.4 miles. With quite some elevation change. You can most notably see that going up here in the boot section, rising over the crest and then going back down again, as well as into turns 2, 3 and 4. Overall, not a too difficult track corner wise, but it's a very difficult track to master, as we are past halfway point in the qualifying session, which means that we are left to take a look at the current standings. As this Moro, who is on provisional pole position by 6.5 tenths of a second. That Lamborghini looking absolutely planted around here. Is it going to be an improvement? Let's just have a quick peek. And it is, to make it a nearly 8 tenths gap to the next best placed car, which is Paris, who's in the pit lane right now. And then it is Taylor. Also very close together is it with Freivogel and Weatherston. These second to fifth place, really in a shot of starting on the front row today. Then we have Falcinelli and Cabras, and then only the second place Mustang being Hochhausen in 8th place, 1.5 seconds behind the pole position time. As Falcinelli has now improved up to 2nd place, just 15 thousandths behind, in front of Paris. Sorry, I'm really all over the place today. Then we have Turner, new face in the McLaren, currently 9th fastest. As we look a bit lower down the field, Regnix has returned now, as well as Omore, I believe. We haven't seen them in quite a bit. But interestingly, I'm missing some of the Mustangs, most notably Gertz, who is leading both the overall championship as well as the Gold Class Championship. So let me quickly take a peek. Is if that's correct. They should be here, but I'm not seeing them. It's only Paris and Hochhausen in the Mustang. Yeah, LoJack is missing. That's noted. Martinelli as well. So yeah. Interestingly, maybe Gertz will join a little bit later on. As here we have the winner of last race, Taylor, currently in second place. Would really like to have another front row start. Currently their track record is 7th, 6th, pole position for round 3, then 14th with the reverse grid, and then another pole position for round 5. So they have been in an uprise in the recent races, and also with the finishing position always finishing in the top 4 bar round 4 with the reverse grid, claiming 3 4th places and then a victory in the last round and the 13th place in round 4. So high hopes for the Porsche in lovely, almost GPS or JPS, Johnny Player Special teamed livery, as that cannot possibly be a mistake on their part. So Taylor completed their outlap, is now going to go for a flying lap, trying to eke into their personal best lap time to maybe snatch pole position away from Morrow. A little bit further up the road it's Falcinelli, who's also on a push lap. Might get a little bit held up by Druid, but Druid pulling over to the right hand side of the circuit to let them pass us in front. There was a brief yellow flag for car 23 belonging to Popov, but they returned to the garage and proved to be no further annoyance to anyone around them. I am interested to see though whether or not the delta in the top left is lying a little bit about Falcinelli's time. If it is indeed invalidated or not, it sometimes bugs out a little bit, but that's the way it is coming across the line. And indeed the delta was correct, surprisingly. But that's already an invalidation for their next flying lap, going too wide through the first corner exit, which is easy to do. But it does land them with an invalidation of their lap time. 3 minutes left on the clock. Turner making an improvement of their lap time and actually shooting up all the way to P6 now, being well inside the top 10 on their first race in this series. But still it is Morrow who holds the fast lap with a 1 minute 43.587, being actually not that far away from the competition, only just under 0.2 of a second ahead of Taylor, with Freivogel now being in third place with Paris just being ahead by 100th of a second compared to Weatherston. But Hochhausen comes in 7 thousandths ahead of Paris to take that P4 spot away from them. Almora, are they going to qualify? It seems that it's now too late to go out and set a lap time. So they will start from the back of the grid. Which, all things considered, looking back at last week's race, might not be that bad of a shout, given the incident that happened in the opening part of the race. One minute left of qualifying hour. Well, say hour. It's actually 20 minutes. Ooh, as that was a little bit slidey from Morrow there. Losing a little bit of time. Going plus, actually positive on the delta, which means that they are slower than their personal best lap time. But gaining quite a lot of it back actually through the entry of turn 6. And losing it again through the mid corner and exit. They're not able to go out or continue on for another flying lap, so this will be their last shot at improving. They are very close to improving, but maybe not close enough. Only 2 more corners left to manage. It is very tight. Maybe something can happen in that final corner. Get a good exit out. And it is near perfect, just showing how great their pace is to almost replicate their pole position lap. Which has actually been beaten right now by Taylor. Taylor going just a couple thousandths quicker to snatch it away from Morrow. And in doing so, claiming pole position for this round number 6. As some cars are finishing off their lap time. Falcinelli here, 3.5 tenths up through the last 2 corners. Don't invalidate right now, as that would be really painful. Coming around the last corner, getting a little bit more time out of it. Up to 4 tenths of an improvement, goes from P10 all the way up to P4 on the grid. And with only a couple of cars left to finish, only, I believe that's Paris, excuse me. Paris 1.5 tenths up, make that 1 tenth as they head into the final corner. Getting a great run through there, up by 2.5 tenths. Coming up to the line from 7th place, they go up to P3. So an exciting end to the qualifying session, where it is Taylor who gets pole position ahead of Morrow. Oh, and I just realized that Turner, it's actually not their first outing here, it's a comeback or return to the series. So a P10 overall is a nice result for them. So it is Taylor, then Morrow, Paris, Weatherston, Falcinelli, BX Royal, Freivogel, Hochhausen, Cabras and Turner making up the top 10. With Popov, Turney, Gonalons, Regnix, Warrior, Fitzpatrick, Dundies, Black, Iliescu, Caraballo, Druid, O'Leary, Yolanov, Azoyan and Omoda making up the grid. And is that correct? Is it currently wet out there? It certainly looks to be the case. And you have also noticed it is dark. It is very, very dark. It is going to be a spooky race, and if it is indeed wet, as you can see in the top right hand side of your screen, the track is set to wet, but no rain being forecasted for the next 30 minutes. So that leaves some strategic options open for interpretation. Get some snacks ready because it is surely going to be one hell of a race, and especially tire strategy will be a factor here. Of course, remember there is the mandatory pit stop, and that could be a vital piece right now, as one option you
30
could do,
seconds.
as it is 30 seconds till the green flag. One thing that you could possibly do is start on the wet tires, and when it's dry, pit and go in for some dry tires. Or do you already stick it out on the dry tires to not have that crossover point and maybe be more flexible? I think I would go with wet, as this not damp or greasy. I would go safe and go with the wet tires, although it's going to be a lot of fun. As we head off on our formation lap. And unfortunately I am not able to see what tires everyone picked, so we ourselves are going to be guessing all race long whether or not they are on the dry tires or whether or not they are on the wet compound of tires. Currently it is the driver's job to warm up those tires and the brakes as well, because the opening lap will be a very tight and fierce one, with not a lot of margin to make a mistake. As you can see, the stray being kicked up by only going 80 kilometers an hour. Also on the lens, some drops of water there. It is really a wet race, so it will be really exciting in the opening tours of the race. Try and see what is going to happen. The whole string of cars going down the hill, and then it will be going back up the hill and then down the hill again, as Druid actually starting from the pit lane. Is that a wise decision? I mean, you would avoid possible carnage, probably. Look at how dark it is. Drivers really need to rely on their headlights to just give you a view of what they are seeing right now. This is their view as we ride on board with the helmet cam on Taylor. This is what the drivers are seeing real time. And it is dark. It is very, very dark. The game teleported you to the pits, Druid. Oh, that's a big shame. I had the same actually at Watkins with another endurance race I did. Maybe it's something to do with its circuit, I am not sure. But maybe you will get out cleanly and avoid some carnage, especially going through the S's at turn 2, 3 and 4. As the drivers are now going to line up side by side, as only 2 more corners are left. before we head on to the start finish straight. It will be Taylor leading away from Morrow, Paris, Weatherston, Facinelli and PX Royal. Taylor with the inside line, which is the preferred line into turn number 1, although you are able to send it round the outside. Morrow showing great pace in qualifying after it being stripped of their pole position by just the tiniest of margins. We are on the main straight right now, 2 abreast, as we are waiting the green light to go, and it is a race on for round number 6 at a wet Watkins Glen in the dark. As we head into turn number 1, there is a lot going on with the Mustangs going up the inside of Taylor, but Morrow going around the outside and taking P1 away. As in the background it is all shuffling for positions. We saw a Ferrari going deep into turn number 1 as we see through the field everyone getting through the S's cleanly. Is that a hit into the barrier for Weatherston? It looks to be the case, as they are now trying to recover, as they are really hurt as they are going straight into the chicane. And I think that's almost race over for them, as they have returned to the pit lane now. Further down the field, everyone still going well. No other incidents to mention at this point in time. Maybe I missed something, at least not something that big or obvious. As this Morrow who leads, as Facinelli has made their way past Paris to get up into second place, with the 2 Fords battling it out over 4th place already between Hochhausen and Paris. Ooh, you can see there Hochhausen sliding through the penultimate corner. And I must say that I think, as their Turner had a bit of a hit on the exit of the final corner. Oh, and again a big send from the Mustang into turn number 1. Shuffles Facinelli a bit wide, but then concedes the place, as I think there was almost a push to pass, as I am hearing that Weatherston had a wheel disconnection on the opening lap of the race, which is really unfortunate, especially going through the S's. And that's almost race over for them, as now Paris is trying to go around the outside into the chicane on Facinelli. Facinelli fights back as they go over the curb. Oh, and there's a spin for Paris, and everybody can luckily avoid them except for the companion Mustang driver, who just taps the rear of Paris' car. That could have been much worse, as now Paris is getting overtaken by Cabras, or Gonalons I should say, and also with PX Royal being side by side, as behind I believe it was Popov who had a little scare off nearly into the barrier as well, as it is very tricky out there. As we have another yellow flag belonging to O'Leary, who has found the barrier I think, and is now making their way back onto the circuit, as they have fallen quite a bit behind the next car up ahead. It will be really intriguing to see when people will pit, how many people put on the wet compound of tires and how many put on the dry set of tires. As I think seeing that the Warriors going all the way to the right hand side of the screen, they are already trying to cool down their tires, as it is currently damp on the circuit, so not even wet anymore. As now Eliscu trying to go up the inside of Turney into turn number 2. Not the most optimal line to go there, especially not in the wet, but they have made it stick and moving themselves up to P13. Now on board with Dundee's from P19, looking back at Fitzpatrick and Azoyan, both being very close as we head into the braking zone for the bus stop chicane. Already quite tricky to really nail it, even in the dry, let alone in the wet circumstances, as there is a white flag up ahead for a slow moving car. I am not 100% sure who that may be. It has been withdrawn already, so nothing too serious. As in front still the same as it was a lap ago. Major point being of course Paris dropping down the field a little bit, down to P8 after that tap or half spin and then the subsequent tap from Hochhausen. As I can say you for sure, the top 3 are definitely on wet tires. They are really looking to cool off their tires, trying to make it last as long as possible. Now Facinelli might have a little look up on the Porsche up ahead, as they're going side by side, viewing from Hochhausen, going into the chicane. And it is actually Taylor who holds their ground well, having the inside line. But maybe Facinelli not being brave enough on the brakes and not being able to make that move stick, as they are fighting yet another day. But Hochhausen has now drawn in closer, and maybe Facinelli needs to make their attack turn into defense. Yes, they are really really looking for some coolness of the still damp track, but off the racing line, to cool down those wet tires. You can just see it there, just marginally pulling off the racing line, as Black is already into the pit lane. Oh, is that behind? A big mistake from Facinelli, going in very deep into the final corner and maybe costing them a position, as Hochhausen is trying to go around the outside but going in too deep and not being able to complete the move. But that was maybe a very... Oh, and that's an even more costly mistake from Hochhausen, hitting the barrier on the right hand side. Just going wider and wider, as they had a little look up the inside, but backed out of it pretty early. Just making themselves known in the mirror. But that damage, yeah, it's really difficult to say what kind of impact that damage has, given that it could be just cosmetic damage, it could be aero damage, it could well be steering damage. Fitzpatrick now also in the pit lane. As Weatherston is trying to recover as much as possible. It is difficult with them having that wheel disconnection, putting in them already a lap down at the start of lap number 2. Maybe even more actually. As Black has now completed their required pit stop. They are the first one to do so. And I do believe that they had some damage to repair, because they were in the pit lane stationary for quite a long time. as O'Leary has already clawed their way back up. As actually, who is that? That's Jordanov going very slowly behind. Going very slowly. What has happened here? There is no input for them. Have they... Oh, they have now gotten going again. Not so sure what that was about. Maybe also a technical difficulty for them. As they have resumed to racing speeds. Not 100% sure what was going on there. What I do know, O'Leary is on a runner after having a crash, half spin, whatever you want to call it. Being quite a far way back from the next best placed car. Now already having overtaken Azoyan to take P18. Fitzpatrick has come out of the pit lane. Ooh, that's deep into the second part of the chicane as they move out wide to make way for blue flags. Oh. As I don't think that Jordanov was meant to do that. Not fully sure what is going on. Does it really seem like Jordanov wants to overtake? No, I'm interested. As I'm hearing that Ragnix has also had some trouble, as there's also trouble for Druid, and that is very deep into the first corner. As they resume on the racing circuit, but losing 10 seconds almost in the first corner with the subsequent rejoin. Was it just being caught out by the brakes? Maybe hitting the grass on the entry, or on the braking actually. Very easy stuff to do, but I am hearing that Ragnix had also had some technical difficulties. So they are also out. Not sure if they are able to return. Morrow now setting the fastest lap of the race of a 1:49.8, so going sub 1 minute 50. Remember, we saw 43s during qualifying. That was of course with some better conditions, especially being no longer on a damp track but just on a dry track. They've extended the gap to the car behind by 2 or up to 2.8 seconds. And maybe it's a bit of a theme here, but I'm noticing that the top 5 are all mid-engined or rear-engined cars. No Mustang, no BMW, no Aston Martin to be in sight. P6 and 7 then are BMW and Mustang cars, so they are there, but not in the top 5. 15 minutes of the race have been completed. As we are heading on to only lap number 8. It's a long lap round here, especially in the wet, nearly 2 minutes. Oh, and they are really struggling to get some temperature in the tires, as BX Royal goes fastest overall with a 149.730. Wasn't expecting to see that. Ferrari turning up the pace. Just showing them they are here. But everybody's still following closely behind. Cabros only 1.2 seconds behind. Would like to get into a top 4. As that would be their best result of the entire season so far, after scoring a 7th, 6th, 7th, 12th and 6th place. It is definitely drying up, nearly 2.5 tenths up for BX Royal on their current lap time, as that lap time is compared to the fastest lap of the race overall. So circuit drying out quickly. Still damp, but it is rain in 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have rain at the end of this race. And now it becomes a whole lot more strategic, as we have another driver in the pit lane. And I believe that is Jordanov. It is indeed. And the two Porsches, as well as the Ferrari and the Porsche behind, really looking for the wet patches on the racing circuit, as BX Royal goes quickest once again to a 49.6. Suddenly the race has turned up onto its head with the addition of that rain being forecasted at the end of the race as well. Paris needing to defend from Freivogel into the bus stop and doing well. Actually, Freivogel going out very wide. Oh, and that's a spin. That's a spin round for Freivogel. They've turned this round quickly then, but are now also being overtaken by Popov, and probably have some damage to the front of their car after going in too deep into... Oh, and that is Popov. Is he holding it? I will give them 5 points for that execution. Nearly held it out of the barriers by the looks of it. Not quite held it out on circuit, but there are tricky conditions. But back to Jordanov. After going in too deep into the chicane, bouncing over the curbs, and that just unsettles the car crazy and forced them into a half spin. All seems pretty calm in the mid pack. Oh, as Jordanov had a little bit of a scary run through turn number 1. And now Tourer is very close to the back of that BMW, having to lift through the S's, which you normally would not want to do, but being fully tucked into the slipstream. Where are they going to go? They are moving onto the inside line, but not close enough to send one, as they just wait their time. for a better opportunity to make a clean pass on the BMW up ahead. One thing I forgot to mention, this circuit is somewhat notorious for getting track limit warnings. So staying clean throughout the race, also with track limits, will reward you in the long run. Oh, is that a mistake from Vrijvogel going wide at the boot? Now into turn number 8. There is the move for Turner, and this time making it stick and moving themselves up to P8. Now with a chance to chase down the other McLaren. Never mind, the other McLaren goes into the pit lane, because why the hell would we have a fun battle out on track? It is Popov who jumps it into the pit lane at the end of lap number 10 to serve their mandatory pit stop. It's a tricky one, this is. Oh, do you stay out, let your tires cook, and switch on to another set of tires, wet tires, sorry, at the end of the race? As we saw that Popov actually needed to reverse in the pit lane. Oh, it's still not in the pit box fully. That's a big time loss for them. As we have a yellow flag, as is Vrijvogel actually once more. Who has had a major incident, losing over 15. Oh, and then once again, and that's a hit into the barrier. I think the rear tires must be pretty cooked, trying to rejoin the circuit. Oh, you can just see it. Any throttle application and the car just wants to spin out. That's something I also really struggled with. You can see it also through this corner, just sliding nearly the whole way through. Needing to be in third gear to really stop the spinning up of the tires. And my guess is that Vrijvogel will come into the pit lane on this lap to repair some of the damage being received by his car. Turner is now also into the pit lane, following Popov in on the last, who pitted on the last lap, but of course had that quite awful lengthy pit lane because they were not in the pit stall correctly. But Vrijvogel staying out. I'm surprised. I gotta say, I'm surprised to see them staying out. As this Johanov, Fitzpatrick and Turner in the pit lane right now. Johanov also with some damage to the front end of their car. Turner now exiting the pit lane to rejoin ahead of Azoyan. And there they go. As we have another yellow flag out on circuit, which has been withdrawn now, and that was Omoda. Omoda in the other Lamborghini, having an incident and feeling the need to return to the garage, being towed there. As we take a look at the leader, Morrow, who has got the fastest lap of the race of a 1:49.504, but Taylor behind has eked a little bit into their lead. Was 2.8 seconds, is now 2.2 seconds. As there is an incident up ahead with Turner actually. Turner and ASEAN have come together. If I can find them, that is. There we go. Turner is all the way there and returns to the pit lane as well. Curious to see what happened there. We hope to take a look at that in a moment's time. And in the meantime, Morrow has been overtaken, making a mistake and costing them first place. So now we will definitely take a look back, as there's a white flag up ahead. That would be for ASEAN, who now makes it into the pit lane. So let us quickly check the replay to see what happened to the leader. There we go. So they were ahead right here. They're into the boot. Oh, and there's a car rejoining. That was why Turner was stationary there. We just missed it. And that's also how Taylor has gotten past. That's a real big shame for Morrow. Has also been in there. Oh, and then a must say dangerous rejoin there for Turner. But Morrow is not one to give up. I know that. They will press on, following as closely as possible, as Jordanov is being lapped there. Proves to be no obstruction for the Lamborghini and the Porsche. And still they're out on those wet tires. For how much longer? Oh, and is that an incident? 23, was that Paris? Again. No, it was not Paris, excuse me. It was Popov, sorry. Who had a slide out of turn number 1. Bring out the yellow flags for a brief moment. As currently Warriors in the pit lane to serve their mandatory pit stop. Caraballo and Druid actually still very close together. They have been so for quite a number of laps, with around a second's gap in between the two of them. As ASEAN is now going into the pit lane again. Interesting. As is this a opportunity for Druid, as there is a send up the inside into turn number 1, and it's a beautiful move from Druid, making it a P11 for the time being, ahead of Caraballo. as Dundies makes their way into the pit lane now as well. Ooh, and is it a bad exit for Taylor? Going on to the back straight. Morrow with a great run. They draw alongside, but are they close enough? Not quite. They pull back into the ILD line. And try to attack the Porsche another time. Just putting on the pressure. Slippery conditions still out there as it is still a damp track, and it is actually quite heavy rain towards the end of the race. At least the rain is intensifying. And it would have been so nice to know on what kind of tires they are. I must assume that they are on wet tires given the pace in the early laps, as well as the fact that they are constantly looking for the wet patches around the circuit. So then the question becomes, what are they going to do strategy wise? Because BX Royal has now also joined the party. And maybe BX Royal was on the dry tires, as up ahead there was a yellow flag, still is a yellow flag for Druid. So the move into turn number 1 down to nothing as they get back going again. And this top 3 is very close, within a second of each other. I am not quite sure if we have seen the top 3 in a race being so close to one another. And Taylor now really feeling the pressure from the Lamborghini behind. Even needing to go defensive into the heel. Oh, there was a slight bit of grass on the entry for Morrow. Also slight touch of the wall on the left hand side, and now Morrow is under attack from the Ferrari. Up the inside they go, and I think that's a pretty done deal there for the Ferrari, moving themselves up to P2 in this race and going after the Porsche up ahead. Look at how much speed the Ferrari carried through the chicane. That was amazing actually. After not being on the optimal line. Shows a lot of confidence. And the Ferrari can now hunt after the Porsche up ahead. Freivogel now in P4. but in the pit lane, as there's a stop and go penalty for Druid for speeding in the pit lane. As Paris will now inherit P4 back from Freivogel after having already completed their pit stop. So that explains why the top 3 is so far ahead of the remaining field. It's because the top 3 are yet to pit. It is well past the halfway point in the race. Are they going to wait till the rain comes down again to then slap on a new set of wet weather tires? That could be a strategy, but making the wets last that long? Difficult. As I think Moro has pulled the trigger and has jumped into the pit lane now. That leaves these two out on circuit right now. Oh, and that was very slidey for the Porsche driver going through the chicane. As they do have traffic up ahead by the names of Gonalons and Warrior. The Porsche even needing to go defensive into the toe, but then having a little bit of a wider run. The Ferrari nearly alongside, not quite, as into the heel they go. Still the order remains the same. There's Gonalons just up ahead, already completed their mandatory pit stop. But they are getting blue flags for these two. As Gonalons will presumably let them pass. Not 100%. Could have been done a little bit better in my opinion. BX Royal does get past, alright. So the gap now half a second between P1 and P2. As we have just over 22 minutes left to run in this race. With rain arriving in less than 10 minutes time. Can they hold it out for another 5 laps? Again, the Porsche needs to go defensive. The Ferrari just putting on so much pressure. You can still see the spray being kicked up from the car up ahead. Oh, that's real late braking there for the Ferrari. Almost in the back of the car ahead. As Druid has only got one more lap to complete their stop go 30. As Paris goes into the pit lane once more. Not so sure what that's about, but hey, their decision. As it is so very close between the two drivers as they make their way to turn number 1. Ooh, it is so very close. BX Royal needed to hold the throttle, otherwise they would have spun out Taylor up ahead. Now getting a good run through the S's, trying to tuck into that slipstream. Getting oh so close to the rear of that Porsche. and they know they can carry much more speed through the chicane, but just with a car up ahead, it is impossible to do that sort of stuff. Then once again getting a great run through turn number 5. Oh, that is a big slide for Taylor, and that is the mistake that BX Royal was hoping for, and that is the lead conceded and given to the Ferrari. So much pressure, and there was the mistake for the Porsche, and that's just presumably very old tires for you. As Warrior lets the 2 leaders go past because of blue flags, as Druid is now into the pit lane to serve their penalty. Now the question becomes, when do these 2 pit? Oh, again, just that sliding around, making it so anxious. Also for us as spectators, let alone for us as or for them as drivers. Less than 20 minutes of the race left to go, and still all to play for. Let's have a quick update. Overall, it is BX Royal who leads from Taylor, but both are still yet to pit. Then is Moro in behind with the fast lap of the race. Then Carbras and Falcinelli. Then it is Gonalons who leads in silver class ahead of Popov, who's just 5 seconds behind. Maybe that will be an interesting battle till the flag. Then we have Paris, Freivogel and Iliscu making up the top 10, and Iliscu also being on the podium for silver class. Then the Sturny also still needing to serve their mandatory pit stop as they are heading in right now. Great timing on my end on that. Well done. Then the Scarabaio is having an amazing race, being up to P11 now and leading bronze class. Then this Dundee's Druid, second place in bronze class, or actually O'Leary second place in gold class. And then it is Druid who is third in bronze class. With then Black, Warrior, ASEAN, Fitzpatrick and Jordanov with the Stop Go 30. Currently in last place, but we have lost quite a lot of cars due to disconnects and other technical issues. And let's not forget, it is a very gruesome race. And oh, that's a hit for into the barrier for BX Royal as well. Was a slight nudge, but damage can be lethal. So you would want to avoid any contact. So currently track is still damp, but rain will arrive in only a couple of minutes time. And I think we will see the top 2 going into the pit lane at that point in time. Also, before I forget, happy birthday to Hurricane. Being, what was it? I don't want to say it out loud before I make any mistake. "40, that was it. Indeed, 40 years of age. As it is Turney actually who has brought out the yellow flag. Oh, and that is a horrendous place to be stuck. Oh my goodness. Just coming out of the pit lane for Turney. Oh, that's such an anxious spot. They can go now. Go, go, go. Get yourself back facing the correct direction. Oh, that was such an awkward place to be in. And I think they have got quite a bit of damage. At least I would assume so. given where they are. Oh, and the leaders are into the pit lane. We are missing all of the great stuff. BX Royal and Taylor are into the box to do their mandatory pit stop. And it has started raining, so precisely on time, as soon as the track started to get wet again, they're in to their boxes. Very close to one another, as well as... oh, but BX Royal has missed it actually, and that is some major time loss. And... yeah. Taylor, ooh, this is going to be a very close one. So very close between the top two in this race. Both of them, I must say, have planned their strategy to perfection, as Morrow is still quite a long way back. There goes Warrior out of the pit lane. There goes BX Royal. And what does Taylor do? Taylor... Oh, but BX Royal has been speeding in the pit lane. And that is the victory thrown away. As Taylor is in the box for quite a long time. And Cabra's now going through as well. With Morrow probably inheriting the lead back. What's going on with Taylor? Taylor is stuck in the pit lane for such a long time. That can't be correct, right? Falcinelli now into the box as well. And finally, Taylor gets going again. Being very careful out of pit exit. Oh my goodness me. What an end to this race. Cabra's now up to P3. Popov now making it a P5 with Falcinelli in the pit lane. As we have another one speeding in the pit lane. But most importantly, it is BX Royal who has got a stop go 30. Eliscu is the other one with the stop go penalty. It is raining penalties at the moment. It's almost looking like it's the FIA out here. Well, I can assure you it is not. We would do better. Sorry, that was a joke. Just some laughs in the evening time. Was weird, why not? Morrow nearly on pace actually to inherit the lead just on pure merit or pure pace. But BX Royal will need to serve that stop and go penalty, even though it might seem unfair. It has been noted that they have sped in the pit lane, and that is rewarded with a penalty. What a shame is this to the end of this race. Taylor now in P4 will probably become P3, but after leading for such a long time, they would probably want to have held on to that lead, as that's an overtake from Falcinelli on Freivogel. As the two yellow cars, yellow German cars actually, go side by side into the hill. And it is the Porsche who comes out on top in that battle. Eliscu has now gone into the pit lane to serve their penalty. So what does BX Royal do? Are they going to come in this lap? They are not. They are trying to extend it for as long as possible. And Popov finds himself up into P5 in silver class. An amazing result as of now. Of course, bringing it home is still very important. As the rain is coming down more and more. It is a lot to take in at the moment. I'm still kind of confused about what's actually happening right now. Yeah, it's a lot to take in, really. PX Royal, after missing the pit box, having to reverse and then go forward again, losing a valuable second, then also having sped in the pit lane, getting themselves a penalty. Otherwise, it would have been a clear on sail on to the finish line, with probably the best strategy out here today. As we should see them peel off into the pit lane right now. And indeed they are trying not to speed. Yeah, I don't think they did, but it is going to be a painful stop go 30. As Morrow will inherit the lead now with 5 more laps left to run. As there's a yellow flag for car 28 being driven by Eliscu. Just dropping it in the final corner, carrying on as if nothing happened. Popov now. Popov into the pit lane. Oh no, that's a P5 gone. Probably also a P6 gone. Why have they gotten into the pit lane? Is it to get some fuel or tires? It must be tires, right? What else could it be? That's P6 gone. P7 is just around the corner. Or P8 actually, but will turn into P7. Now they get going again. Where are they going to come out? Freivogel is close. And Freivogel has passed Popov now. But that's a P8 then for Popov. And Caraballo actually close behind the leader of bronze class. So this could be well and truly an amazing end to the race if a bronze class driver finishes ahead of the leader in silver class. Only 4 seconds separated two class leaders right now. Oh, as we just switched to O'Leary, who has slid off the circuit, going into the boot section. Luckily it was only a minor scrape of the barrier. Nothing really to be worried about. And then BX Royal down to 4th place, 23 seconds behind the podium. They're Dundies letting Morrow go past. do we have any more battles to watch in these remaining moments of the race? It's actually a lot of lapped cars except for these two, Popov and Freivogel. Popov gaining a lot, probably on the wet compound of tires. And you can just see the traction difference between the McLaren and the BMW driver. So much less grip. Oh, that is very close between the two brands. I think it will be only a matter of time before we see an overtake from Popov on Freivogel. As you can just see, wet tires doing their magic. As oh, and that's a big hit into the barriers for Freivogel. And that is massive damage to their car. Was there any assistance from the McLaren? I am not sure, but oh, that's some major damage there. Now also getting blue flags from Cabras. Oh, and this is real bad for Freivogel. Not having really a race to their likes, having a lot of incidents, but especially this last one being by far the worst one, and thus costing them a lot of time, and now also with some heavy damage to report of. You can just see how much they are struggling right now, going through the corners, just keeping it on the circuit, needing to brake mid-corner and then again going deep into the toe. Yeah, that car is in very rough shape. I'm wondering if they will keep it out on track, given that it is only 2 more laps to go. And P10 being 40 seconds behind that, but that gap will close down very rapidly. Jordanov and Fitzpatrick in the pit lane. As for a brief moment I saw a Porsche there as well, but just a temporary glitch. And look at this. Popov and Caraballo, now the gap has grown again. So Popov firing up those presumably wet tires, like again. I have no clue what tires everyone is on. But it looks to me like that is wet tires for sure. As Freivogel has gone into the pit lane. So that will lose them a position at least. Maybe even another one. As it is just heavy rain right now. Now it's just keeping it on the circuit for everyone involved. Currently no real battles out on circuit. At least no close ones. Yes, there we see Freivogel in the pit lane, and now O'Leary will go past and up into the top 10. Dundee's not that far behind, will probably also get P11 as the leader is now on the final lap of the race. So once you cross the finish line, it's still 1 more to go, unless you finish directly behind the leader, as Gonalons was a bit shaky out of turn number 6, kept it out on the circuit. As a P9 would be a great result for them. But let's just take a moment to take this in. Oh, and Freivogel has gotten a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane to put the cherry on top. What a disastrous race they've had. Must be noted. But also for this guy, the Lamborghini driver, after having a crash with a recovering car, losing the lead, going in early for their pit stop, and ultimately taking the lead back. 2 more corners left to navigate in one of the most amazing races I have ever seen. Lots of strategy, lots of battles out on circuit, and it will be won by this driver. Moro wins it in the Lamborghini. They have won round number 6. As Cabras is next to cross the finish line, making it a P2, a season best result after not finishing in the top 5 once. Now making it a 2nd place finish. Very well done. And then to finish off the podium, it is the pole sitter Taylor, making it a top 3 in the end. And then we have BX Royal, who maybe should have won the race, but with the penalty dropped down to 4th place. Still a nice result from them. I think they went up from their starting position. Paris as well, after being tagged, recovering and fighting on. It is a top 5 finish for them as well. Very, very, very great recovery drive for them. Falcinelli will bring it home in P6. With Popov, if I can find Popov. Nearly there, nearly there. Nearly there, nearly there, nearly there, nearly there. There we go, Popov. Last car currently running. They can just cruise it home to a P7 finish. Absolutely amazing result. Oh, they cannot. Whatever. Oh, they already finished. Never mind. I'm just speaking gibberish. It is Morrow who wins round number 6 ahead of Cabras and Taylor. Then we have BX Royal, Paris, Falcinelli. Then Popov winning it for silver class in 7th place overall. And 8th place overall goes to Caraballo with an amazing result, winning bronze class as well. Then there's Gonalos in P9 taking 2nd place in silver class, with P10 going to O'Leary, getting also a 2nd place in bronze class. P11 is for Dundies, getting 3rd in silver, with then 12 going to Ilescu. 13th is to Black, getting onto the bronze podium as well, with 14th Druid. Then Turney 15th, Freivogel 16th after a 30-second penalty gets added to the race time for that drive-through, which drops them 2 places, I would say. That is Warrior in 17th, with Azuyan in 18th, Jordanov in 19th, and Fitzpatrick in 20th of the finishing drivers. Furthermore, we had Omoda in P21, then it was Turner in P22, with Ragnix in P23, Hochhausen in P24, Wedderson in P25. That is it for this race. Let's quickly get to the replay and save it. I need to set up a party. And then I need to find the people. First off, save the replay, because that's only for a select amount of time. Then I go back to the party, try to invite. Then I need to remember who everyone is. I want to invite you. and you. So there we go. So replay has been saved. Anything we need to look at? Not quite, I think, because first off we have Taylor. Taylor, I think you must be pretty gutted.
Massively. So I finished 32 seconds behind the race win, and I lost 45 seconds in the pits
Yeah, what was
because I
that all
actually changed the
about?
front brakes. I
You had to
accidentally
change
changed
your
the front brakes. I was
brakes?
cycling through. So obviously, I thought the race was going to be wet to dry, so I was messing around, trying to change my tires, trying to change the tire pressures as well, so it match with the rain. Obviously, I had presets it for dry weather,
Yeah.
and then in the process, I must have accidentally just changed my brakes and lost my
Oh,
45
yeah.
seconds in the
I was
pits.
already
So
wondering, like,
otherwise, could have won
why
by
are
10
you,
seconds.
why are you so long in that pit lane? I mean, a change of tires, 30 seconds must have already passed, but you kept being in the pit lane, and then you indeed came out, and I was like, all right, maybe something happened. But indeed, changing the brakes will lose you that amount of time, and yeah, that's really gut wrenching. That knowing that you had a very clear shot at the victory there, Porsche being very suited to these conditions. Was your plan from the start of the race to make this strategy work?
Well, my initial plan, we didn't know at the start of the race that it was going to rain at the end, unless I missed it on the weather radar.
No, no, it
But
wasn't known, so that was indeed something that spiced things up.
yeah, no. So I fueled long because I thought the track's going to take a while to dry. So I thought it was going to dry, and it was doing. But then we just had the rain at the end. But my initial plan was I put a lot of fuel in so that I could go almost as late as I could. Put like 70, 80 litres in at the start so I could go long.
Yeah.
So that when it dried up, I'd be able to pit whenever. But yeah, I wasn't expecting the rain. And then I think I was on the right strategy, just had a nightmare in the pits. So
Yeah, both you and BX Royal having
yeah,
not the
even
greatest
worse.
luck. Indeed, which you probably missed in the pit box. BX Royal didn't get into their pit box. They had to reverse and then go back forward again to finally get into their box, which
And
cost
he was
them
caught
also
speeding, yeah.
valuable time. And then again, also with that speeding penalty, dropping them all the way down to fourth place. I think you two were definitely the ones favorite to win it. Um, but yeah, luck decided not to go into your favor, and yeah, well, almost be unluck for you guys. Still,
Yeah, well, it's
a third
for me,
place
it's a lesson
finish.
learned.
It's
It's a
still a
lesson learned not
podium.
to just be careful with what I'm doing in the pits. I mean, I've said that multiple times this season, but still a lot to do, still a lot to learn on the game. But gonna need some luck to fight for this championship now in the final two races. A win today would have boosted my
Yeah,
chances massively.
back-to-back wins would have definitely increased your chances. Still, with Gertz not racing today, I have a feeling that you will be in the lead of the championship, or it will be very close with Morrow. So that's for gold class, and for overall, I am also not sure whether or not you or Morrow will finish ahead for the time being. So that will,
I think at the moment it might still be Gertz because his drop round is like I want to say a fifth.
let me
So even though
check.
he's missed a
It's
race, he's
yeah,
still
it's a
got
sixth.
race. Oh yeah, sixth. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he'll.
or fifth,
If I had to
sixth.
guess, I think he'll still be ahead of me, but can't say I'm doing the maths at the moment.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, still all to play for. So we'll see in the last two rounds how we go.
yeah. Still a P3 result, second podium of the season, with still 2 races left to go. Still all to play for indeed. So good luck next week at Zolder, which also probably should fit the Porsche nice. And then
Very
Spa
much.
for the final round. So until next week, good luck. and see you sometime later.
Cheers.
And then we go on to Cabras, who takes a personal best finish of the season with a amazing P2 finish. Tell me, Cabras, how did you get along today?
Well, today was a bit of a crazy race, honestly. I just got lucky with well, I did less mistakes than others, maybe, and I try my best to keep it on the track, and maybe it was the right choice to change the tires and lower the pressures because they went too high for the fact that the track was getting dry. So after that, I've been able to catch the guys who made some mistakes. That's it. I wasn't the fastest, but I tried my best
Be consistent as
to
possible, because
yeah,
consistency is key after all.
yeah.
I must imagine that you started on the wet compound of tires, did you not?
Yes,
And then
absolutely.
around halfway point, I believe, you pitted and then again for wet tires?
Yeah, usually I don't change tires on the wet, but this time I had to because, like I said before, the pressures were too high, so I had to change them
Yeah.
to lower them. But I didn't repair the damage. I had a little bit of damage.
Alright. Well, still a P2 finish
Yeah,
after not
and
being in the top 5 at all. Now finally
yeah,
getting a top 5 and even better a P2 finish, which would definitely get you up further in the standings. Currently P6, but I believe you will get at least P5 if I'm not mistaken.
maybe because someone didn't join
Yeah,
tonight.
Lojek wasn't racing tonight. They are currently P4. Falcinelli did race, so maybe it will be a
But
P5, but
yeah, around
still,
there.
overall, just
Anyway,
a great result.
yeah, thank you.
And also for you in the Porsche, next week at Zolder will be a nice one. And then as
Hopefully,
well in the last race,
hopefully.
Spa,
And
all to
let
play
me
for.
say, let me say something. It's one of the few 1-2 for our team also.
It
I don't
is.
think we, I don't think we did. Maybe in some other season happened with Freivogel and Moro, but I never did before 1-2 with Moro. So that was nice.
That's indeed a very nice result. And on that note, it is time to end. Thank you, Cabras, for joining
Thank
as
you.
well. And yeah, to you guys, the viewers, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all next week for the 1 hour race around Zolder. Until that time, have a good one. See ya.